So for the last 10 days, we've had kind of cool, wet, rainy weather. This is not the weather we were hoping for our small hives, our splits, and our swarms to get started with, but it is what it is. So I've come back a couple of times to put feed on them, but haven't really dug into them. And I'm not going to dig into them today. I'm going to do what I call a buzz check, which is, make sure they're buzzing. So let's go take a look at them. And remember, like and subscribe. It really helps us out. The first hive we're checking is our swarm from a couple of weeks ago. When you have a new hive or a swarm, you want to let it be for the most part for a month. Unless you're releasing a queen from a package, you want to give them a chance to do their thing. Now, we see ants. But we've been putting a lot of sugar on this hive, so as long as they're keeping the ants under control, that's okay. And they have been making use of the feed. And as I say, I'm not going to do a full inspection. Just going to take out a couple of these blank frames and try to look down there. And make sure everything's cool. I'm just going to move this group over a little bit. Let's see if we can move this over as a group or whether they got some burr comb going. Oh, I can feel they have burr comb going. Okay, that's not going to work. Oh yeah. I'm not even going to discourage them on the burr comb because I'm just kind of happy they're doing their thing down there. I can actually see when I look down in here some whitened comb and a nice stack of bees. They're quiet. They're happy. Why bother them? We know that this swarm has stayed. They've made this their home. And that's really all we're looking for right now. We'll go in when the weather is warmer and we'll see, how the queen is doing. But as I say, this is just a buzz check. We're just making sure that they're healthy and they have food, and they do. I'm glad to see after 10 days that they haven't devoured this sugar that has been on here for a couple of days. That indicates that they do have enough stores. What I'm doing here, I push the frames together, and it's important to do that on hives because if there's an irregular space between the frames, that's when you can have some problems with them building things you don't like. And especially true in the honey supers. You don't want those honey supers to be crossed too much, or you break them up in the process of trying to remove the honey. Large side down just so there's room for the sugar. And I'm just going to move over and look at our split. The splits are of concern because of the fact that they don't have a workforce. The home hive that you took the split from does, but this is the split we took off of hive number 4. Yeah. You can already see bees. And I might actually fire the smoker up a little bit. In this case, we just want to move them down and out of the way so we're not harming anybody in the process of looking around. We still have some sugar. Still some pollen patty. I see an amazing amount of draw out here. I don't know where they're getting, honey from because it's been so bad weather-wise. But they're certainly not near starvation, and that's a good thing. So again, I'm happy. It's a buzz check. They are devouring out the sugar though. If you look at the bees, you'll notice how a lot of them are facing sideways and some of them are facing up. When you see them all with their heads facing up, that's generally a dangerous sign that they're a little aggressive. These guys seem pretty mellow. So, again, I'm going to let them be, and we'll check out our other hives. These two I put solid feed on, basically sugar cake. The other two had wet feed on and a little sugar cake. And I'm most interested now in our younger hive, the one that we just caught the other day because, well, it's been a couple of weeks, but they weren't that big to begin with, maybe a pound or two. So I'm going to go take a look at them now. And in keeping with our weather, it's starting to drizzle a little bit. Okay. So the first takeaway is the bottles of feed that I put on a while back still have feed in them. They are drinking it. And this sugar cake here, they have plenty of food and plenty of bees in there. So this was our small swarm. I don't know how small it was when it was in the air. It was pretty big, but compared to like a 3 or 4 pound swarm, this was, let's say, 1 to 2 pounds. But I'm happy with what I'm seeing here. I could try pulling the wax paper off, but that would probably piss them off. I might do that though. I might just give them a little bit of smoke to mellow them. All right, I'm happy with these guys. Whenever you have a new split, you have no workforce. So it's important to make sure they don't starve in those first few weeks. So what are we seeing here? They still have a little bit of the sugar water that I put in there, so no one's up against starvation. I see closed comb. So they've collected stuff and put it in here. I think this was the wrapper I pulled off the other one, so we'll pull that out of there so that they don't have to. These have been more aggressive at eating the sugar, but they certainly don't look like they're up against starvation. So I'm going to let them go. As I say, next week we should have a couple of sunny days, and that'll work out a lot better. I'm going to take a quick look at hive number 5. This is the one that we believe issued all the swarms. Wow. They're actually putting stores in the honey super I put up here. That's nice. We know they're nowhere near starvation. Lastly, I'm going to look at hive number 4. Oh, we got moisture on the inner cover. It's not been anywhere near as freezing, but it's enough for condensation. I don't really see draw per se yet, but they're certainly on the frames up here. And that tells me there's a pretty good population below. Yeah, just a little bare comb on the bottom. My theory about that is that bees have to bridge new supers with wax before they start really doing much with them. There's 2 hives back here I'm not going to dig into right now. There is one hive in the front, which I call our mean bees hive, number 9. And I'm just basically going to do a temperature check to see how loud they are. See how fast these guys take flight? See how they jump to that? That stinging instinct is really high with them. I'm just going to close them up. Doesn't look like things have changed here. Next week we should have at least a sunny day or two where we can really dig into these hives, but until then, greetings from Buzz Bark and our anger hive, and we'll see you next week.